This is Mr. Sexton. I am the instructor for this course of Speech Communication 1017 at Palm Beach State College. If you're watching this video, obviously you're taking either the online version or the hybrid version. I just want to welcome you to the class and let you know what we're going to be doing in the class. In this class, we're really covering four different elements. We're going to be covering four things. One, the theory of communication. Two, group communication. Three, inter and intrapersonal communication, and four, public communication. Now let's look at those things one at a time. We're going to be looking at the theory of communication, and we'll look at four things within that. We'll look at what communication is, what's the process of communication, what happens in communication. We're going to look at language and how language affects our communication. We're also going to look at the role of our nonverbal communication in our daily lives and our public communication as well. We're also going to be looking at the last part of communication, which is listening, and most importantly, remembering. So we're looking at those four elements. Let's go on and look at what else we're doing. Secondly, we're looking at group communication, and we're going to have quite a unit on that. The purpose of this unit is to really help you in your future life. A lot of people, a lot of students do not like working in groups, and there are good reasons for that. However, the truth of the matter is, in life, you do work in groups. It might be, social groups, it might be political groups, but in business, you're always going to be working in groups. You may think that you're going to be in a cubicle someplace, not relating to other people. Well, for your work to have value, you are going to have to come out of that cubicle and work with other people. And so we're going to talk about that, participation in groups and leadership in groups. It's an interesting unit, and I think you'll have a good time with that. We're also going to be talking about how we talk to ourselves. That's called intrapersonal communication. Intrapersonal communication basically is the communication we have with ourselves that tell us who we are and how we relate to other people. And associated with that is interpersonal communication, which is the communication we have in our relationships with others, a rather important part of our lives. If you've noticed the divorce rate or the separation rate, it's rather high. And what do we hear most often? He didn't communicate with me. Well, we do communicate, and we'll talk about why sometimes we communicate, but we do it poorly. We're also going to talk about public communication. In this class, it's very interesting because we're not just talking about how we communicate in a public situation, face-to-face, but we're also going to be talking about how we communicate online. So I want you to know we're looking at four things here: the theory of communication, group communication, inter and intrapersonal communication, and public communication. So you're going to have a lot to do in this class. I think you're going to enjoy it.